I think at this point, when all the evidence are presented to you, and you still want to be adamant to the fact, then I think you're just refusing to reality. You're just refusing to the truth, because at this stage, I mean, if you have been following everything I'm teaching by now, at least you should come to a place where you know it for yourself that, listen, what I've known all this while is an outright lie, and it's time I wake up myself to discover the truth. So when you want to wake up from, it's like trying to wake somebody up and the person refusing to be up. What can you do? The person is refusing to be up. At least we all know the person is still pretending to be sleeping, but the person is actually up. So I think it's difficult for a lot of people to come to this place where they will easily let go of everything they've known all this while and come into this, that all of a sudden this is truth, and come into this. So I'm not really blaming anybody for where they stand. I'm just saying I hope you wake up too soon and you don't wake up when it's too late. That's all I hope for. Akwaba. Any anum na dofo. Omo bi biara akwaba wo melanated truth jumedido. I welcome everybody to the Melanated Truth. I'm your Kojo Bento. And I get excited every time I get to see you. Today, I don't want to waste a lot of time, and I want to go straight to it. I'm talking about the divine counsel. The divine counsel. But before that, I want us to look at these three scriptures that undeniably exhibit the existence of other gods. And as a matter of fact, the Most High Yah himself admitting to the existence of other gods. Let's look at them. The first of these scriptures is 2 Kings 17:35. It says, with whom Yahweh had made a covenant and commanded them, saying, you shall not reverence gods, or you should not reverence other gods, nor bow down to them, nor serve them, nor sacrifice to them. So you start to think, okay, then it means we are not supposed to sacrifice or bow down or serve any god, right? Apart from Yah. Okay, but the problem is that Yah goes on to say, but Yah, who brought you out of Egypt with great power and outstretched arm, him you shall reverence, him you shall worship, and to him you shall offer up your sacrifices. So wait, if you shall not do these things to the other gods, but you shall do this to me, then what becomes of me? I am also a god like the other gods that you can do. As a matter of fact, you can do worship to them. You can give worship to them. You can sacrifice to them. You can give them your reverence. But I don't want you to give it to them though. I want you to give it to me. This is what y'all say. Read it, 2 Kings 17:35. Read it. It says, I want you to give all this to, don't give to anybody. And this is why. The statute and the ordinance, the laws and the commandments he wrote for you, you shall be careful to observe and do forever. Do not reverence other gods. The covenant I have made with you, you shall not forget, nor shall you reverence other gods. Yahweh your God, you shall reverence, and he will save you from the hands of all your enemies. However, they did not obey. They continued to practice their former customs of serving gods. So these people were God worshippers. They understood the fact, which is sad because many of us in our generation want to fail. It's on purpose, intentionally want to fail or want to turn a blind eye to the fact that, listen, there exist other gods and you cannot survive on the face of this dimension without your partner in the spiritual realm. These gods are supposed to be our partners, not our slave masters. You are not to be enslaved by anybody on the face of the earth or anybody in the dimensions. You were not created as a slave. You shall never be a slave. You should never be a slave. The minute you enslave yourself to people on the face of the earth and to the spirit in the dimensions, you are victimizing your own self. You should have a partner in the other realm that does the things that you cannot do in the other realm, so that he can also do the things that he needs you to do in this realm. Do you understand what I'm saying? Let's continue. So it says, however, they did not obey, they continued to do the practice. So these nations were taught the reverence of Yahweh, but instead they worshipped and served their gods. Their children and their children's children have continued to practice to their fathers and even to this day. So wait, how is it? Listen, when you take your time to break this, how is it that the same things they were doing to the other god, it was evil, but when they do the same things to Yahweh, it's not like they were doing different things. It's not like he said, listen, don't worship these gods, don't serve them, don't perform sacrifices to me, just come to me and that's it. No, he says you must be careful to do them. This means what? The minute you come into covenant with me, I need you to surrender your will to me. From henceforth, you have no will. You got to do everything I tell you or else. Listen, whenever anybody is telling you to do something and that this thing that I'm telling you to do comes with a condition, you should know that you are not in control. Or else, if you don't do them, I will destroy you. Let's move on to the second one. Psalm 8:19 says, there shall not be any strange gods or other gods among you, nor shall you worship any other god. For I, Yahweh your God, who brought you up out of the land of Egypt, open your mouth wide and I will fill it. Listen, these blessings will come upon you if you do what I'm telling you to do. But if you decide to go for these other gods, then I wouldn't do this. And this is fair. Listen, this is like any other business deal. When you are in business with a partner, now you are entitled to the profits that precede at the end of the business year. But if you are not in business with me, don't expect me to do anything for you. This is the principle of the realms of the spirit. If you are not in partnership with any higher being, higher authority, if you are not in partnership with anything beyond this dimension, then nobody would come to your rescue. Nobody would do anything for you. You would be moving in this dimension and doing things ordinarily like everybody else. Have you ever find yourself in a place where some way, somehow, you know within you, I don't know how I got this, but some way I got this and everybody else didn't get it, but I got it. Or I was able to make it out and nobody else did. Or that some way, somehow things happen to me and it doesn't happen to anybody else. Have you ever asked yourself why things remain that way though? Listen, they only remain that way because there's a special covenant between you and whichever spirit that backs you up, whichever spirit that protects you, whichever spirit that defends you. There is a communication between, there's a fulfillment between you and that power. So it's that power's responsibility to take care of you. Maybe you only have that contract with that power. Maybe your brother or your sister don't. So some of the things that will be happening to you is not happening to them. Listen, if all is fair in the realms of this dimension, then everybody should be rich. But it don't happen like that. No matter what you do, we're still going to have poor people and we're still going to have rich people. Because those that are in contract, will keep enjoying the benefit of the contract of the dimensions, and those that are not would keep suffering. Listen, I know this is not fair. I know this doesn't sound nice, but this is just what it is in the realms of the spirit. When you come into contract with the being and you fulfill your part of the covenant, listen, they would fulfill theirs. One thing you should know, spiritual beings do not lie. They don't. They are always upfront and they are always telling the truth. So in our system, our fathers knew, when you do me wrong, I don't even need to come to you. When you do me wrong, all that I need to do, some use eggs, right? They crack the eggs, speak over the eggs. The eggs represent the fertility of the womb. You see, women don't know how powerful they are. If a woman, no, I can't teach this. This is too powerful. I can't teach this. Listen, women, you guys don't know how powerful you are. If a woman, I don't want to teach this. I don't want to teach it. If a woman ties a cloth to her belly, her womb, and if the woman has slept with a man, and the woman ties a garment in her, like across her belly, right? Across her belly, ties a cloth and hit it and speak over the name of the person who slept with her and is doing her wrong now. Whatever she says, because she has tied the womb, the belly, because she has tied her waist, whatever she says would happen. Listen, you don't need any God to affirm it. The fact that you have tied your waist, these are intelligence that our fathers knew. So growing up, you dare not go to steal anything from anybody. Our fathers grew up in villages that there was no theft. Nobody was stealing anything. Because woe to you to go and steal anybody's stuff. I'm telling you, we grew up with stories like people would go and touch somebody's stuff and will be stuck. Like probably you going in to steal this thing, right? The minute you walk in, you are stuck. I'm telling you, you hold on to the thing till the person, the owner of the thing, comes to release you and tell you don't steal again. Stealing is bad. Because when you go into contract with the gods, with the powers that be, when you establish the contract and you open up a liquor and pour a libation on that contract, it is affirmed in the realms of the spirit, in this dimension, and it can never be broken. It can never be broken. That is what he's saying here. He says what? I am Yah, your God, who brought you up out of the land of Egypt. Open your mouth and I will fill it. Ooh. He says, open your mouth and I will fill it. And he says, go on. He said, but my people did not listen to my voice. Israel will not obey, so I gave them up to corruption of their heart. They go on in their own counsels. So I gave them, so I turned them inside out. Don't you dare sit down and see certain things, certain cyclical events happen to your life and think, oh, it's normal, it's just life, this is just what it is. No, it is not normal. Things just don't happen in this dimension. I'm telling you. Things just don't happen in this dimension. Everything that is happening in this dimension has a spirit attached to it. Ooh, it has. I'm sorry, but it has. Let's go to Jeremiah 25:6. Jeremiah 25:6. But let me read from the 5. It says, they said, turn again now everyone from his evil way and from the evil of your doings, and dwell in the land that Yahweh has given you to your fathers forever. Listen, first and foremost, this is what I want to know. Turn from your evil ways. Why is it that when the same things are done to Yah, it's not evil, but when it is done to these other gods, it is evil? Why? What makes worshiping and serving these other gods evil? Because just as the Creator created Yah, the Creator also created the other gods. Listen, I know these are hard truths, and I know these are stuff nobody wants to hear. But if something is evil, let me set an example. If stealing is bad, regardless of who you are offering the stealing for or you are stealing from, it's still bad. I don't care who you are doing what to and who you are doing what from. The minute you are taking something from somebody that is not yours, it's stealing. There's no sugarcoating to it. So if something is evil, why does Yah only demand that this same thing be only done for him and not to anybody else? Why does he keep saying that though? That listen, when you worship the other God, it's evil, but when you worship me, it's cool. When you worship me, it's okay. When you sacrifice to these other gods, it's evil. But when you sacrifice to me, oh, it's good. It's good. Why? Because he was in contract with them. It is the same way you cannot be in contract with a company and pay your bills to another company. Which other company you go into contract with, that is where you pay your bills to. So you cannot say, I'm in bed with this company A, but I'm going to pay the bills to company B, whilst company A provides me the services. It doesn't work that way. We shouldn't do that. That don't even make sense. Whichever company you provide your payments to, you pay your money to, that is the company that should serve you. Monkey in the work, babu they chop. How can monkey be working, but babu is the one eating the fruit of the labors of the monkey? It doesn't work like that. So, therefore we say, and do not follow after. You see, doing your evil ways and dwell in the land which are, and do not follow after other gods, Elohim, to serve them and to worship them. Do not provoke me to anger with the works of your hands, then I will not harm you. Do not provoke me to anger, then I will not harm you. Listen, Yahweh is saying, I would harm you if you serve these other gods. If these other gods were worthless, why don't you just stop them in their tracks? Why do you got to bring your fight to me, the man? Because, listen, whoever you pay your allegiance to, that is the one you pay your tribute to. You cannot pay your allegiance to one kingdom and pay your tribute to another kingdom. So Yah or Yahweh is not going to go to fight or go to war with the other gods because of you. No. He said, listen, I don't got problems with the other gods. You are the one that I've got problems with. You are the one that are not doing your part of the deal. So I'm bringing harm to you. Ooh. It didn't say, listen, read it. I didn't write the scripture, or better said, I didn't bring this interpretation to you. This is what all these other versions. And it's saying that do not follow after other gods to serve them with the works of your hands. Do not go and give the fruit of your labor to these other gods that didn't do anything for you. I saved you. Are you getting the politics here? He says, I delivered you, not these other gods. So don't give anything to these other gods. Make sure they all come to me. Ooh, that's heavy. Listen, that is why I said to this point, if you are not waking up to the truth, then it's your responsibility. Wherever you set your bed, that is where you should sleep. You don't set up your bed here and go and sleep in another man's house. So if you are in bed with the Almighty Yahweh, then be in bed with Him. You cannot be in contract, be in covenant with Him and go and serve these strange gods. It doesn't work. But if you are in bed with these other gods that you don't know, then go and serve them. That is why, listen, these other gods, they would eat your food for free, because when Yahweh is bringing His judgment upon you, these other gods will not come and save you, because you are not in covenant to them. They are not obliged to save you. Are you getting it? That is why you can worship another man's God for years and nothing will change in your life. So you can be this thing, I don't want to even say the name anymore. You can be this thing all your life and your life will still the same. It will still be the same. Each year you would keep breaking the same cycle. You will keep breaking the same curse. And each year you will go through the same thing. It doesn't matter, because you are serving another God. You are in covenant with another God and you are paying your royalties somewhere else. It don't work like that. It doesn't work like that. Let me continue to read. He says what? I would harm you. I didn't say, he said it. The God of Israel, Yahweh, said, I will harm you. Yet you have not listened to me, says Yahweh. You have provoked me to anger with the works of your hands, and you have brought harm upon yourself. Listen, he said, because you went after these other gods that you have no business with them, you have brought harm upon yourself. Yeah, what did they say? I am bringing harm upon you. You have brought this harm upon yourself. It's your fault. He said, it's your fault. You did this to yourself. And see what's going to happen. Therefore, this is what Yahweh of hosts says. Because you have not listened to my words, behold, I will send for you and God get all the families, tribes of the north, says Yahweh. For I will send Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, my servant, my instrument, and will bring him against this land and against its inhabitants and against these nations all around, and would utterly destroy them, making them an astonishment, a hissing, a perpetual dissolution. So he's bringing the people from the north. Ooh, every time you hear about the north, you know who this is talking about. All the nations in the north. Let me not go there. But listen, you have brought this upon yourself by being in covenant with this God and serving the other God. Yahweh is saying, I'm not saying there don't exist other gods. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying we don't have these other gods. But all that I'm saying, put your mouth where your food is. If I am the one you covenant with, then obey these laws that I'm giving you. That is the truth. And that is what has happened to many people for all this. You see, our people keep saying, I'm waiting for the Messiah to return. I'm waiting for this to happen. I can't wait for the Messiah to come. And all of you forget the fact that scripture says, if you don't return to the truth, the Messiah would never come. Ooh. So how then are you busy in bed with somebody else and expect the Messiah to come? It's not going to happen. If you embrace the truth and come back into the truth, then the propelling of the truth would invoke the presence of your deliverance. Last scripture, I'll let you go. Jeremiah 35:15. Jeremiah 35:15 says, I've also sent all my servant the prophet to you, rising up early and sending them, saying, turn now, every one of you, from the evil way, and amend your doings. Do not go after other gods, Elohim, to serve them. Then you will live in the land which I have given to you and your fathers. But you have not inclined your ear. You have not paid attention to listen to me. Listen, blessings are not automatic. Don't let anybody deceive you to think that blessings are automatic. No. You get blessed in response to what you do. You say, so I would allow you to stay in the land that I promised you and your fathers if you keep to my covenant. Dwelling in the land is the blessings that is coming from your fathers. That is why I keep telling you, it is time you connect to your fathers and understand what granted the blessings that is upon their life. If you don't encounter your fathers, if you don't connect to them, contact me personally, I'll teach you. My numbers are in the description. But if you don't contact your fathers, if you don't talk to them, if you don't have a conversation, if you don't invoke the powers that protect you, that governs you, the powers that your fathers left in charge to put. Have you ever been in a situation where you were just taken out of something that just didn't make sense? You know, you felt it within you that something saved me today. The spirit that your fathers kept in charge, if you don't find out what the details of the contract are, listen, there is no way you're going to see the kind of blessings you are praying for to manifest in your life. I can give you 100 years plus another 100 years. You would never see those blessings come to pass unless you continue the covenant of your fathers. It is time you know what covenant your fathers went into and continue that covenant. Blessings are not automatic. Blessings are not guaranteed. Blessings are not just given freely. Every blessing comes with a price. If you doubt what I'm saying, then this world shouldn't have any poor person. Why do we have poor people in this world? Why do we have people that are sick all the time? Why do we have people dying all the time? Your entire life, you've grown up to this stage and you're still alive. Others didn't even make it half your age. Blessings are not guaranteed. Blessings are as a result of an action. Blessings come after an action is done. If you invoke, God of Israel said, if you go after these gods, I would harm you. I would hurt you. I would hurt you. Tell me again if there's any free meal in the realms of the spirit. Enjoy your night. I love you guys. Stay blessed. I'll see you tomorrow. I couldn't touch on the counsel, the divine counsel. Tomorrow I'll touch on divine counsel. Tomorrow I'm doing the divine counsel. Wednesday, y'all are not going to stop me. I'm going to talk about health. It's important. We need to be healthy. But tomorrow I'm dealing with divine counsel. Stay blessed. I love you. Have a great night.